a lot of coaches, when they have a pitcher who can bat, say, well, I don't need the flex or the DP. I'm just going to run with a straight 9 because my pitcher hits anyway. So I don't want her to pitch only, and I don't need somebody hitting for her. But in this video, I'm going to show you why it's advantageous to start with a flex anyway, even if you have a pitcher who can hit and you're just planning on playing 9, that's fine. You still want to start with a flex and a DP, because if you don't start the game with the flex and the DP, you cannot add it as it goes. Once the game starts, you cannot add the flex or the DP. So we always want to start the game basically, with few exceptions, with 10. And again, even if you have a pitcher who hits, there's some things that you can do to utilize the flex and the DP. So there's a lot of things you can do. Actually, we're just going to run through one of them, though, in this video. So for example, let's jump right into it. For example, we're going to want our relief pitcher, whoever we have in relief, starting in the flex. So I'll show you what that first example is. We'll go to load previous lineups here, because I have this lineup saved just with fake names, no flex or DP. So we're just going to continue with this lineup. And here's all our names. We have 9, so we don't have the flex or the DP. But again, so in this example, we're going to say Jess is our pitcher. Okay, Jess is our pitcher who can hit. And let's say we'll add a relief pitcher here. So this is where we want to add our flex. So let's say Rachel, because it starts with an R, it'll be Rachel, our relief pitcher. We're going to add into the flex here. So I'm going to go to add player. I'm going to type in Rachel, and we're going to put her in the flex. So now the app is going to ask, okay, then obviously your flex means that they're just going to play the field. So who then do you want to be the DP? So we're going to choose Jess, our starting pitcher, as the DP. So now this is how we're going to start the game, with Jess, our starting pitcher, at the DP, and relief pitcher Rachel starting as the pitcher. But obviously Jess is going to pitch. So we're going to submit the lineup like this to the umpire. And so now the umpire is going to say, okay, do you want to make any changes now that the lineups are official? And we're going to say, yes, I want, my DP is going to go in a pitch, so I'm going to drop to 9. My flex is going to come out of the game. So Rachel, our relief pitcher, is going to come out of the game. So up here in the substitution bar, we're just going to go to drop to 9, remove flex. So we're just going to drop the flex. And now that's going to put Jess, who was our DP, as our pitcher. So this is basically how a lot of coaches would have started the game without the flex, but they wouldn't have Jess, their current pitcher, labeled as the DP. So right now we have Jess labeled as the DP, even though she's pitching. So now what that allows us to do is, when Jess gets tired and can't pitch anymore, now we have relief pitcher Rachel on the bench here to re-enter into the flex spot. And so we could just re-enter Rachel here, and then Rachel pitches and doesn't bat, and then Jess, of course, can just be DP and batting, because Jess is a pitcher who can hit. So Jess would stay the DP, and Rachel, our relief pitcher, would come in to pitch. So that's one reason you want to do that. Now, let's say, here's another cool thing that you can do with this rule. Let's say we're up, 6-0. And so we don't need Rachel to come in yet. We want to keep her on the bench, but we're up 6-0. We want to save Jess for later. She's pitching great. We want to put in Hannah, who's like our third string pitcher. We want to put her in to get innings because we're up, by a lot. And so we can do that. We can go, hey, time umpire, I want to go back to 10, but I want to leave Rachel on the bench. I want to bring in Hannah off the bench as my new flex. So we can just go to the substitution bar. We're going to go reinstate flex back to 10. And instead of putting Rachel back there to re-enter, we're going to choose Hannah into the 10 spot. So now Jess is the DP, our starting pitcher, who's now, tired, or we just want to save her for later. She's going to still hit for us. And then Hannah, our third string pitcher, is pitching only in the flex. And of course, now if Hannah gives up a couple runs or whatever, well, we've got relief pitcher Rachel that we can re-enter into the flex spot so she can come in and hopefully close the game out for us. So that is the next way that we can, roll with the flex. So now let's go ahead and end this simulation. We'll go back to use previous lineups. We'll use this again. I want to show you what you can do. So here we got, again, Jess is going to be our starting pitcher, relief pitcher Rachel. So this is the lineup that we just submitted. Now let's say relief pitcher Rachel is actually a good hitter, and so is Jess, but we want Jess, our starting pitcher, we want her starting as the pitcher, and then our relief pitcher, we still want to bat. And let's say Rachel can play first base, but we have, another first baseman, let's say that's Carly, who can play first. And so we want Rachel to be able to bat, and we want Jess to be able to bat, and we want Rachel to come in relief. It's kind of a tongue twister. We want Rachel to come into relief, have the ability to later in the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to start Rachel in the flex, and so we're going to change positions here, and we're going to swap Jess and Carly, and then we're going to swap Jess and Rachel. So now Jess is our starting pitcher. Rachel is going to be our first baseman to start the game, even though she's in relief as a pitcher. And then Carly is going to be our DP. Okay, so let's assume Carly is a fast runner as well. So this is one reason that we'd want to do this. So we're going to start the lineup, submit the lineup like this. We got Rachel, who's a relief pitcher, also playing first. Jess is pitching, and Carly is just at DP only. So we're going to submit this lineup. Now, let's say, so Carly's in the 2 spot because we want Rachel coming in to hit. So she's going to bat in the 2 spot so our flex can come in to hit. So Rachel's playing first but not batting for now. So you might say, well, why wouldn't you just start her at first base? Well, we can run for Rachel, who's a relief pitcher, and let's say presumably not fast because she plays first base. So she's not a fast runner. She's our relief pitcher, but she can hit. We can run for her every time. So we're going to, when that 2 spot comes up to bat, we're going to call time. We're going to enter the flex for the DP. So Rachel is going to come into bat for Carly in the 2 spot. So Carly moves to the bench, and now Rachel hits. So let's say Rachel gets on base or gets walked. So Rachel's on first now. Okay, cool. Hey, time. I want to put my starting DP, Carly, who is fast. I want her back into the 2 spot now to run. So we flip them back. Rachel never uses a sub, never comes out of the game. She's right back into the flex spot, playing first base again. So we run the bases with Carly in the DP, and we finish that inning. So now let's say the next inning, or a couple innings later or whatever, the 2 spot comes up again. Cool. I want Rachel batting because she's a good hitter, playing first base. We're going to go flex in for the DP again. So now Carly is out of the game, but Rachel gets to bat in the 2 spot again. So Rachel hits. Let's say she gets on base, she gets walked, she gets a double, whatever. We want a runner. Okay, so now Carly, because Carly came out of the game and came back in and came out again, is now done. But we just need any fast runner off the bench. Let's say Hannah is a fast runner. So we're going to call time. We're going to say, hey, I want to go back to 10. So that's going to put relief pitcher Rachel back into the flex. And now Hannah will be our new DP. So Hannah will run the bases now for Rachel. So Rachel, again, has never used a sub. Just goes right back into the flex, has not come out of the game, even though she's coming off the base paths. She just moves back into the flex spot. She does not come out of the game. So now we have, that two spot filled by other DP, someone off the bench. So that's Hannah, the fast runner. Okay, so now let's say it's late in the game. This is where we want relief pitcher Rachel to be able to come in to hit. So if Jess can play first base, obviously this is easy. We just flip-flop them. We just say, hey, I want Rachel moving to pitcher, and Jess is going to play first base. So here we'll just go to position changes, change position, and we're just going to switch Jess from pitcher and Rachel at first base. So now Rachel comes into pitch, Jess playing first base. So that's easy. But let's say Jess does not play first base and we still want her in the lineup to bat. So Rachel comes into pitch. Now what do we do with Jess? We want to keep her in the lineup to bat, but she doesn't play first base. Well, what we can do is move Jess to OP, offensive player, which means she's going to bat only. So how do we create an offensive player? Well, by putting our DP, our designated player, into the field. So that's Hannah. So let's go DP takes field. So that's going to be Hannah. And so we're going to switch Hannah with Jess. So now Jess becomes the OP offensive player, and Hannah now is at first base, still acting as our DP, but DP is playing the field at first base. So hopefully Hannah can play first base. If not, we can bring somebody off the bench that plays first base and put them into that 2 spot. And then remember, we also have relief pitcher Rachel, who's a good batter, can bat still in this 2 spot. So if it's, later in the game and we want to hit Rachel, then, and again, we still have Jess batting as well, then we can put Rachel into this 2 spot still. So we're going to do that. We'll call time, go to flex enters for DP. So that's going to, warning, that's going to move the OP to the field because now we're down to 9. So Rachel moves into the 2 spot to bat, and we finish the game here with 9 because we need, when the flex comes in for the DP, that means we're down to 9, so we need all spots filled, so we cannot have an OP anymore. So that would move Jess to first base, or whoever you want. You could bring somebody off the bench defensively. You could bring somebody in for Jess, and then Jess could re-enter because she's a good batter when that spot comes up. So a lot of options you can do from here. You're kind of just trying to fill the holes. It's late in the game. You're trying to make things work. But hopefully this video gives you a good idea on why you always want to start the game with the flex and the DP, basically with few exceptions, even if you're looking to roll with 9.